news ASMR. I read good news articles on a regular basis in ASMR format. And today we're going to be talking about there being 40% more tigers in the world than previously estimated. And that is a very large percentage, and it's really, really good news. I think everyone loves tigers. Well, at least, is usually in awe of their size and how beautiful they are. And so, there being 40% more than previously estimated is really good news, I think, for everyone. So anyway, without further ado, I will go into this article. There are 40% more tigers in the world than previously estimated is the title. It's the year of the tiger, and a new population assessment offers some hope for the endangered species. An estimated 3,726 to 5,578 tigers currently live in the wild worldwide, up 40% from 2015, according to a new tiger assessment from the International Union for Conservation of Nature. But much of the increase is because of improvements in monitoring the animals. A fairly significant chunk of that 40% increase is explained by the fact that we're better at counting them. That many governments in particular have really sort of moved heaven and earth to do massive scale surveys. Luke Hunter, Executive Director of Wildlife Conservation Society's Big Cat program, told NPR. The WCS is a nonprofit that has worked in roughly 60 countries across the world to save wildlife and wild places. Besides better accounting methods, Hunter also attributes the higher tiger numbers to an increase in conservation efforts by governments in the countries where they live. Tigers are still considered endangered and remain on the IUCN's Red List, which assesses endangered species. Tigers continue to decline in many parts of the world and have lost an enormous amount of their range because of poaching, habitat loss, and other human-driven factors. Tigers are considered highly valuable within the illegal wildlife trade, which has become a massive global industry, according to Hunter. Although tigers represent just one of many endangered species, efforts to conserve them can benefit the areas and people within these communities, he says. When you succeed in saving tigers or conserving tigers, you are conserving very large wilderness landscapes with a huge host of biodiversity, but also a whole bunch of benefits to the human communities that live in and around those landscapes, he said. Hunter said he believes these types of assessments show that conservation interventions can work and tigers can start to recover. Expanding and connecting protected areas, ensuring they are effectively managed, and working with local communities living in and around tiger habitats are critical to protect the species, the IUCN said in a statement. Okay, wow, so really good news. The article does mention that their counting ability has gotten much better, which is good because that way we can more accurately, know exactly how many tigers there are and react appropriately and, problem solve a little better for how we can boost their numbers even more and, keep tabs on, every single tiger. So this is really cool, and it makes me really happy to see that, these beautiful animals are recovering. Okay, let's see, there's also one about pandas here. Let's see if that one. Okay, finally some good news. China says giant pandas are no longer endangered. Oh, nice. Okay, so we've got, a wombo combo here with, two very beautiful animals, recovering nicely. So I'll jump into this article now. It's a good day to be a giant panda. Chinese conservation officials have announced that they no longer consider giant pandas in China an endangered species. Their status has been updated to vulnerable. Qu Shuhong from China's Ministry of Ecology and Environment said Wednesday. China's state-run news agency Xinhua reports. There are now 1,800 giant pandas living in the world, a number that officials credit to the country's devotion to maintaining nature reserves and other conservation initiatives in recent years. As a result, other species have flourished. Siberian tigers, Asian elephants, and crested ibises have all seen a gradual increase in population numbers, according to the outlet. Internationally, the giant panda has been considered vulnerable for 5 years. The International Union for Conservation of Nature removed giant pandas from its list of endangered species in 2016, a decision that Chinese officials challenged at the time. If we downgrade their conservation status or neglect or relax our conservation work, the populations and habitats of giant pandas could still suffer irreversible loss, and our achievements would be quickly lost, China's State Forestry Administration told the Associated Press at the time. Therefore, we're not being alarmist by continuing to emphasize the panda species' endangered status. It's not clear that the number of giant pandas living in the wild has changed significantly since 2016, when IUCN first made its decision. At the end of 2015, there were 1,864 pandas living in the wild, according to Reuters report that cites the Chinese government. That number was a significant increase from the 1,100 giant pandas that were living in the wild and 422 living in captivity in 2000. In a statement to NPR, the World Wildlife Fund called it another sign of hope for the species. Thanks to decades of collaboration between Chinese government, local communities, companies, and NGOs, the giant panda's future is more secure, said Colby Lukes, WWF's Vice President for Wildlife Conservation. Chinese successful conservation of giant pandas shows what can be achieved when political will and science join forces. He continued, continuing these conservation efforts is critical, but we need to stay vigilant on the current and future impacts climate change may have on giant pandas and their mountainous forest habitat. Still, giant pandas aren't out of the woods just yet. They live in bamboo forests, which are at risk due to climate change. Okay. That's awesome. So I guess to kind of compare both articles, it seems like there is more coordination and better systems being put in place between, governments and NGOs and stuff like that. With the tigers, they're getting better at counting and accurate systems in place to really get the true numbers of tigers. And with pandas here, it's similar as well. So yeah, it's good to see pandas are recovering as well. Okay. Nice.